Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. What does a father of 3 kids,
father of 5,
father of 2,
have to say about what's going on in the world today? Find out in
3, 2.
Kick it! All right, welcome to another episode of Hardheaded. With me, as always, is Mr. Matt Amos and Mr. Chet Sears. I'm Troy Trussell, your host. This is episode 165. Matt is going to tell us what's on his mind, and then we're going to dive into the top 3 ways the government keeps you complacent. And then Chet's going to finish it off with a good word. So, Matt, what's on your mind?
Tell you what's on my mind right up front is I went for my annual checkup recently at the good old Veterans Administration.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember this day.
Do you?
Yeah.
So, just going in for my annual checkup, which was 2 years overdue. And they've been on me like, hey, you need to get this done. You need to get this done. You need this done. And I'm just like, I'll get around to it, And so I go in and sit down. And of course, the first thing they do, they take you back and, they put you on the scale, they weigh you. And I was like, good Lord. I was like, I gained 2 pounds. How did I gain 2 pounds? I've been cutting back on sugar and, all this stuff. And so I was like, I was already depressed. And then, so then you go back to the room and they sit you down, they take your temperature and do all that. And then they stick that blood pressure cuff on you. So they stuck the blood pressure cuff on me. And
is it an automatic one or the
automatic one? No, not the old school where they pump it up, whatever.
Yeah. That's my doctor uses the old school. The practitioner or whatever. Just so you know.
Where they hand squeeze it
and squeezing
stethoscope.
the needle bounces.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you get a more accurate reading?
No.
The needle bounce?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, how do you, because me, I wouldn't even remember it by the time I went to write it down. Like I could see it when it does it, and then it does it again, and you're like, well, what was that first number? Oh, shoot. Let's do it again.
It's just not something you're trained for, Chet. I am.
That's true.
But
you know what that's called? Sphygmomanometer.
Yes, it's a very fancy
I am trained in that.
It's one of your favorite words.
Didn't we have an episode about this?
Yes.
It was one of his favorite words.
Yeah.
Still is.
And
Sphygmomanometer.
So anyway, I can't even say it.
Momanometer.
So
they sat me down and
put that sphygmomanometer on you.
Well, I don't even know if that's what the automatic one's called.
Yes, it is.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's the cuff itself? Is that what it's called?
No, that's the whole device.
But is it a device when it's automatic?
It's still a device. It's like a digital thermometer versus a mercury thermometer.
he went up 3 octaves.
I don't know. see if I can get him to soprano.
You keep asking dumb questions, I'll keep going up.
So anyway, they push the little start button and it goes and it keeps going and keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. I'm like, good Lord, is this thing gonna stop? I was like, my arm's getting really sore here. And so then she goes, oh, I hope that's not right. And then she goes, we're gonna try that again. So she did it again and she's like, that's really high. And she goes, I'm gonna take it by hand. And so she got that down. She goes, well, it's a little bit lower. She goes, but that's pretty high. So let's just go through some of these questions. And it's like, okay.
It's like, goes, do you have an emergency contact phone number?
She's like, is your vision blurry? And I'm like, no. She goes, you got a headache? And I said, just kind of a little headache. I go, nothing terrible. I have headaches all the time. And she goes, huh. Okay. Well, I'm really surprised with that high that you're not having any real symptoms. She goes, you chest hurt? And I'm like, no. Trouble breathing? No. Huh. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to go tell the doc. I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to stop right here. And I'm just going to go let the doctor know.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with the examination.
So the doc came in and asked me the same questions, and I was like, I feel all right. I don't feel bad. And she goes, well, we're just going to go ahead and order you up a wheelchair and we're going to just wheel you down to the ER. And I said, what? I was like, I can walk. And she goes, no, we'd prefer that you didn't.
You're about to have a heart attack.
And I was like, all right. So I get down to the ER, they do their thing, and it was a little bit lower, but it was still way high.
Yeah.
And, so they go through their whole thing, and they're like, well, you're not having any chest pain or trouble breathing or anything like that. It's just high blood pressure. So, typically what we do is we, do a chest x-ray and EKG and all this stuff, and then we'll start you on blood pressure medication. I was like, here's the deal. You're probably not going to get me back for any of that. I said, but if you want to just start me on some blood pressure medication, I go, I've always been elevated. I go, I've never been
like that
normal or low, but I've never been, that high. And,
back in ancient times, because you got a lot of blood in your body, should we just do a blood letting?
Probably.
Then would that lower the pressure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you lose too much blood, your pressure drops, and then that's when you go into shock and die.
Man, I could have taken care of you. We could get you off these daily meds. You let me cut you every day?
No. But the good news is, so she goes, well, go down to the ER. If everything checks out, we'll bring you back up. We'll finish your annual, and we'll get you on your way. So, spend my time down the ER. At this point, I was like, oh, might as well just spend the day, because at this point, it's a good portion of the day, even though this is the first time I've ever been wheeled right down to the ER and got right in. Like at the
VA.
Yeah. No, any ER.
Any ER.
There was no wait. It was just like, hey, we're just going to get you on back.
Yeah.
Because the other experience I have with an ER, I haven't been to too many ERs in my life, or maybe just a couple of times.
I have.
And, but they've been for kidney stones.
Yes.
And I remember I was in Reno. I just gotten off a plane, and I suffered the entire flight.
Yeah.
When the plane landed, I said, I looked at my buddies I was traveling with. I was like, hey guys, I was like, do me a favor. Here's what my bag looks like. I was like, grab my bag off the belt, take it to the hotel for me. I said, I'm going to the hospital. I was like, I can't, I'm done. Like, I'm dying here.
Yeah.
And so get to the ER, and of course, Reno, they're like, well, we don't, you're not whatever in this hospital system, so you need to go register here. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I got to go stand in line over here. So I'm like hunched over, just freaking dying, waiting to fill out this paperwork to get registered in this stupid computer.
Yeah.
To go back and sit in the ER for 6 hours.
6
hours, because there were chest pain after chest pain after chest pain kept coming in. So
everybody losing all that money in Reno.
So I kept getting pushed.
Yeah.
And, so then when I finally got in there, and the nurse brought me back, she goes, how long have you been out there? And I said, 6 hours. And she goes, what?
Yeah.
She goes, normally we look out and we can tell kidney stones right away just by the look on people's face, And I was like, well, that was me. I was sitting right by the door the whole time.
Right.
But so that was my other experience. So this time I was the guy.
They got bumped up.
They got bumped up in front of everybody. And it was only one old man, and I don't know what his issue was, but
he's dead now.
So he might be.
Yeah.
So I get back.
He would have been seen just a minute earlier.
So I get back and I'm sitting, they're like, well, we'll get you back. And it wasn't even a room. It was just one of those things that's kind of just sheeted off, in a chair. And so I'm sitting there, and there's some
curtain in a chair,
elderly veteran that's just like, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. And he's like, just fully enraged. Like, I'm like, holy cow, like, settle down, dude. Like, they can't keep you here. Just leave. I was like, there's no reason to start yelling at people.
He declared it. Yeah.
But he was really upset, and of course he's an old guy, maybe they were trying to keep him there, what's best for him, or,
right.
Maybe there was some other issues or something like that. But yeah, he was just really angry, and I was like, oh, dang. And then the dude next to me, he's talking about, what he's there for, and he ran out of his blood pressure medication, and he goes, I'm feeling dizzy and all this. And then, I heard the number, and I was like, rookie numbers, bud. You got to get those up, man.
Got to get your numbers up, rookie.
I was like, you're dizzy with that? I should be comatose. But so anyway, went back up, finished my annual. All my other numbers came back good. She's like, everything else looks great, but we just need to get that blood pressure taken care of. So I've been on low blood pressure medication, and we're down a little bit. We're not there yet. So I think they're going to have to do some adjustments, maybe add some more to it.
I can punch you in the face and your nose can bleed out.
It probably won't bleed, to be honest with you, but
yeah.
What
do you think I don't hit hard?
That's obvious.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, all that to say that, I even, because I really despise going to the doctor. Like it's one of my least favorite things to do, and so I avoid doing it at all costs. And for whatever reason, this time I was just like, yeah, I probably better go to this appointment. No other reason. It was like,
yeah,
I probably just better go.
And luckily you're here with us today.
And so I even wrote him, email, because I've got private chat with my doctors, whatever. And so I just emailed him and I was like, hey, thanks for taking good care of me the other day. I know I'm a difficult guy to get in there. I'm pretty pleasant when I'm there. I don't ever
speak for yourself.
I am.
Yeah.
And, but I was just like, yeah, he wasn't
a mirror. It was a mirror.
That guy wasn't happy.
Look at that old guy.
But
he's cranky.
I told him, I was like, hey, thanks for taking care of me. Cause they really did do a good job and probably prevented, something bad happening, so anyway, shout out to VA for taking care of me this, recently. And
you need to go to the Wesley on the west side. There's never a line there. Straight in, man.
Oh, that's a good one too. It's good ER.
Well, but see, now my options are back open because before, since I didn't make my annual appointment for 2 years, they put you on like this where you
got to come in and see us.
You got to go see them because if you go somewhere else and it's an emergency, we didn't know about it. You didn't come in here, so we're not going to pay for it.
Control. Yeah, I went in. So both my kidney stones. In the second round, I knew exactly. The first time, I didn't know what was happening. I was just freaking out, and it was a very, 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 very large kidney stone. And the second time, as soon as I started feeling it, I'm like, "Oh, we got to get up there." It was the other kidney, and I went in. I'm like, "Got a kidney stone, left side, whatever." And so we were going in the back, and she's checking you in. Have you ever had kidney stones before? I was like, "Yeah," and she was like, "Okay, well, when was that?" And I was like, "Well, it was 2 years ago." And it was, I came here and I gave the millimeters on how big it was. And she goes, "That was you?" I am known.
The record setter.
I am known. She's like, "That was you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I hope this one's not that big, Anyway. So.
Pays to be Sasquatch.
I got my name up on the wall there, apparently.
Yep.
All right.
But anyway, that's what's been on my mind.
All right. Thanks, Matt. All right. We're going to take a quick break and come back with the top 3 ways the government keeps you complacent.
At Admiral's Pennant, our mission is to offer the latest and refined, high-quality masculine products and services to the modern gentleman, as well as provide him with the tools and products necessary to look, act, and feel confident in his appearance and social interactions. Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave.
And we're back.
All right, Chet. Why don't you start us off? Top 3 ways the government keeps you complacent.
The government keeps you complacent under our 2-party system.
Oh, yeah.
We are pitted against one another, one citizen against a different citizen. And the insinuation is that it's the other people that are the problem. And as long as we're fighting amongst ourselves, we never come together and realize it's the government that's the problem.
I've been voting libertarian for 25 years. Nothing ever happens.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You are fighting the wrong battles when you're in the 2-party system.
Yeah.
Number 2, they dangle carrots. All of them have. I'll give you a one more recently upset maybe some of you Trump fans. Trump said, "I'm going to make sure all the JFK documentation is declassified as it was supposed to be on the date that they were supposed to do it." They didn't do it. He didn't go all the way. Or one more recently, "We're going to release all the names on the Epstein flight logs." Oh, no, we're just going to do 100 of them now. And then we're going to do 100 of them later and 100 more. All while they happen to coincide with other major news events that should be paid attention to. But no, everybody's going to go with this fodder. Dangling that carrot out there. Number 1, they just flat out lie. They're telling you that gas prices are coming down. They're telling you there isn't a border crisis. They're telling you there actually are weapons of mass destruction. They're just telling you lies left and right.
Now, is this misinformation, disinformation? We did this show. What's the
lies?
Lies.
That's just what they are. I know. Misinformation is. I can't remember all that crap we talked about, but there are different definitions. But this is just a flat out lie.
Okay.
They're telling you one thing and they know it's another.
Yep.
They literally are saying there's not a border crisis right now. But there is. And I'm going to correct. Well, actually, I have a different view than what I have portrayed on this podcast previously. John Fetterman, the crazy senator that had the stroke, he's back, like not strokey anymore, and is straight up.
He's not
based.
strokey.
Like the dude is like, man, we got to do something about the border. It's out of control. And this spending that we're doing in Washington is going over the top. We're never going to recover from this. I mean, all of a sudden he's making a whole lot of sense. Before, when he was running, made no sense. He had a stroke, and he's back without he's coherent and not wearing pajamas anymore to the Senate. And the dude is like spitting straight fire. Like, I don't know. And so I want to let everybody know I don't feel that way about John Fetterman anymore.
Right now.
Today.
Currently.
Yeah.
Until he strokes out again.
As of February of 2024. I don't know. Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. But the dude's, he's right on. So, anyway, they lie. The government lies to keep you complacent. And then you can just get mad about the lies. You never do anything about it.
See, to me, agreed. What if old Fetterman's just putting on a show because it's election year and he doesn't want to make the Democrats look crazy?
Because he got elected crazy. He was crazy when he got elected. Why would he go sane now?
Because they're looking at drawing more of us.
No, they're not.
The middle crowd.
No, they're not looking at drawing anybody.
They're looking at drawing that middle crowd, bringing them in.
Biden gave a speech at, what's the crossing? George Washington's river crossing, the Delaware. He gave a speech there and said, literally, our greatest threat to democracy is people that support Trump. Like, they're not looking at drawing centrist. Like, it's all out war.
But the centrist wouldn't be your Trump supporter.
But it would be, I'm not a Trump supporter, and you don't tell me the biggest threat to America is other Americans, because it's not. And you're not trying to pull other Americans in by saying your neighbor is the reason this country's going to fall apart.
Look, you're a little bit too right-wing for me right now. Huh? You're getting a little... Do you have any firearms on you right now? Because you're getting pretty emotional.
I don't answer those questions. Anyway, that's my top three.
Matt, what do you got? Let's keep this going.
Good night. I don't feel attacked.
Hey, if you don't want the fire, don't bring the smoke or something. Is that a thing? Sounded good. No, it didn't.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Who knows?
With a question mark at the end.
Number 3.
Let's see if that's real.
Kind of goes along the lines of dangling carrots out in front of you, but stimulus checks. As soon as everything starts going crazy and going bad, and it's like, hey man, our economy sucks. Hey, here's a stimmy.
Stimmy.
It'll get you by. Here go.
Let's relieve some college debt.
Yeah, we're gonna give stuff away.
Let's print money. Hey.
It just they dangle that stuff out there in front of you to calm you down for a little bit, to placate you. Like, maybe they'll take this, little stimmy and go buy a new TV, and then they're gonna watch that TV that's fed with the news that we control, and then
here's a phone. Have a phone. We'll give you a phone.
Yeah,
stimmy.
Yeah.
Number 2, they just they make new laws, so they don't make crazy new laws. They just take a little bit more than they did. They refine it, is what they call it. They're refining it. Just a little bit more than they did last time.
Take a little bit more freedom, yeah. So
they just erode your liberties a little bit at a time, just enough to the point where you're really not going to do anything about it because, what's a little bit more?
Yeah.
So they just they make new laws, they make new regulations just to keep you just enough. They push you just enough to where you might grumble a little bit, but you're really not going to do anything about it.
No. And they never take any old laws away.
No.
Just add to it.
And then number 1, they shift the focus on whatever it is through media to control you, to divide you. So if and it kind of goes along the two-party system, but they keep you divided, you fighting against your neighbor, so that the two of you don't join up and say, hey, retard, we're done. We're taking it back. They don't want that. They want to keep you divided, arguing with each other. So you side with this side, you side with this side, because together they'd be done. It would be over. But then again, they go back to those new laws, making those new laws that say Patriot Act, or hey, we got this because if you do this, oh, you're an insurrectionist.
Right.
Oh, January 6th. Ooh.
Yeah.
Some people walked into a Capitol.
Right. No, man, dude. Every time I think about that, I almost cry because I'm shaking in fear of how close our democracy came to ending.
Yeah. So did everybody, right?
Yeah. It's like,
especially the police that are just like, hey,
you want me to take your picture?
Go on in.
Yeah.
And then like, and even right now, I mean, they're keeping a candidate. I'm not a Trump supporter. Like, it's not like he's my guy. You know what I mean? It's not like, there's a lot of people out there like it's Trump. It's got to be Trump. He's going to fix.
He's not going to fix anything.
He's not going to fix anything. If anything, it's going to make it worse because the other side is going to. You saw how they acted the first time he was elected. Imagine what's going to happen this next time.
And you saw what he did the first time. He was like, Operation Warp Speed. Let's all go confine to our homes and get vaccines. But I digress. I'm with you. Yeah. You let the process work. The man deserves to be on the ballot.
Yeah, and so I mean, but hey, we're gonna make new laws, and then that's gonna prevent this person from running because we're gonna classify it in such a way that was an insurrection, and if they can do that to him, they can do that to you, and then that's just a fear tactic that the government uses.
Well, they are doing it to the people that showed up at the Capitol.
Yeah, I mean. But
a couple weeks ago, they came out and said
it's terrorist. It's terrorism is what they're doing.
And a couple weeks ago, they came out and said we're coming after the people that were on the Capitol grounds beyond the barriers that didn't enter the Capitol. Like they're just as guilty as what they're saying now.
Right. That's how far-reaching it is. That it's like I mean, and imagine if for 1 minute you could get the left. Who says all those people are retarded insurrectionists, blah, 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 and, detriment to America and, whatever. Hey, what if we just, what if you stop name calling and we stop calling you retards and, and we come together and we say, you know what? We've had enough of this dumbass government. They're done.
You're talking about me getting fired up.
Well,
look at you.
But it's so simple. It's so simple. The answer's right there. Like we don't have to storm a Capitol. We don't have to storm state buildings. All we have to do is come together and say, nah, we're done.
We're tired of that.
We're done.
Yeah.
Like let's just grow up. And I've been saying this since this dang podcast started, is just come together. Let's at least agree on some major issues. Leave all the other stuff that they try to divide you with, leave that out of it. Let's just come together on, hey, do we love this country? And if we don't, as a group, then let's just screw it. We're done.
Yeah.
And let's all go find somewhere else to live. But if we can all say, hey, we enjoy freedom, we love what this country stands for, even though we may not be doing it right now, as long as we can agree that, hey, this is what this country stands for, then
this is a song. You're making a song right now.
Am I? Lee Greenwood, maybe take it up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all for it, man. Well, what a top 3.
Wow.
That was number 1.
I haven't even gone.
I know.
It's crazy.
Know. What's on your mind, Matt? But you need to calm. Hey, you got blood pressure issues, man. You need to calm down.
No, I can actually go more because now I'm not at risk.
You are at risk
of.
Get your numbers down.
I can't.
Yeah. All right.
I'm medicated.
Troy.
Number 3, smoke screen. They talk about, submarine is lost and we can't find it.
Aliens!
For 4 days.
Aliens!
Well, they got something else going on over here that you don't want to know about.
Why did we change the name of UFO?
What did we change it to?
What is it now? It's a new.
It's not unidentified flying object.
It's not unidentified anymore. It's changed.
All right, while you're looking that up, I
yeah.
will go to number 2. It's hope for change.
Okay.
They always promise it, never happens.
That's a good one.
Same old BS all the time. Number 1, I said it earlier, kind of like what you were talking about, printing money. They just keep printing money. They don't care about the debt. They just keep
we'll just make more.
incurring more.
It's cool.
Till one day our dollar is going to be worth nothing and all hell's going to break loose. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of that, UFO is now UAP.
UAP. That's like when a DWI became a DUI.
Unidentified
Aerial
projectile
phenomenon. Yes. Wow. It's not an object anymore. It's a phenomenon.
Well, see,
wild.
and they're it's so funny.
Yeah, you're good, man. Hey, man. Hey, take a deep breath.
Take your pills,
Take
man.
a deep breath.
I already did. I can only take one.
Maybe you need to take another one.
Well, we're getting there. They're still working it out.
Is that your chill pill?
It is actually because it's like a anti. I don't know what it is, but it's like an anti-anxiety thing or something like that. Like that's what blood pressure medication is.
Yeah, it's
basically
not working
an anti-anxiety med. I
Yeah.
feel a little less anxious, which is kind of funny. You know, I don't really notice the blood pressure, but I do feel better than I felt.
Do you drive down a dirt road you never been down before?
No.
Yeah, you still got issues.
But what I will say is it's funny because I've been saying this too, is that this whole UAP thing now, I'm still going to call it UFO.
Old school.
Because
boomer.
Millennial. I like to think that I'm with the current generation. But how they're using that as the smokescreen for biblical happenings that may occur. So it's a way to explain, oh my goodness, what are these 4 horse? Oh, those aren't don't say the word demon. Those are UAPs. Those are aliens. Aliens. That's what it is. So I really think that that's what they're building it for is a way to deceive the end times people, whether that's us, whether that's
50 years from now.
a few generations down, where now all of a sudden just aliens are normal and we've done this, and then all of a sudden, and I just think their terminology is off. I don't think that they're aliens. I think that there are supernatural beings.
Oh yeah,
angels and demons, and
absolutely.
Instead of let's just call them that instead of aliens.
And I'm not going to get into it.
That could be
I've been doing a little bit of reading
on your mind.
Been doing a little bit of reading.
Well, I mean, we can talk about it in a future podcast.
I don't know if I want to talk about it in a future podcast. It goes in some
I think we
crazy
should.
places.
I think we should. I think it'd be fun. All right, Chet, to give us a good word.
Good word. Work. Regardless of how upset you are with the government, the Bible is still true. And it says in Colossians chapter 3, verse 23 and 24, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters, since you know that you will receive an inheritance from the Lord as a reward. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. So no matter how upset you get with the man or the system or the people that we have to pay our taxes to, we're not working for them. You need to work as unto the Lord. Don't work for human masters. Work with all your heart.
Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.